Oh yeah, this is definitely giving Wayfair vibes.
You know what else? All celebrities are connected. I don't care what struggle story they come out and tell y'all, like, oh, I had to get this from the mud. Bitch, we always find out that a bitch was like Beyonce cousin secretly. Like, just be quiet. Just be quiet. And they be trying to sell us a dream, like, oh, you could, if I could do it, you could do it. You are Beyonce's cousin, bitch. Fuck you. All of them are connected in some way, or either they went to school with somebody, or they was friends with somebody, they daddy was friends with this person, or they mama was cleaned up their house. It's always some type of connection. Ain't nobody just randomly getting famous. I don't care.
What if I told you the most powerful people in the world wear red shoes for a reason, and it has nothing to do with style? Leather shoes are made from skin. We all know this. But red shoes, these aren't just any leather. No, they're crafted from something far more exclusive. They say it makes the softest leather in the world. The price for these shoes, let's just say, it's not just measured in dollars. You've seen them, bright, bold, almost out of place. Red shoes on billionaires, politicians, Hollywood elites. You think it's just fashion? No, it's a symbol, a mark, something only the initiated understand. Same with the red carpet they walk on. And if you think that sounds insane, remember, Nike already introduced this idea to the mainstream. Yeah, they literally made sneakers infused with real inner liquids, a major company mass marketing the concept. And who do you think wore these shoes the most? Who was the target demographic? But this goes deeper. There's actual artwork, paintings, tapestries, showing people wearing red shoes against their will. Ever wondered why? Because red shoes don't just symbolize status. They tell a story, but only to those who can read the symbolism. And the red carpet, think about it, the biggest celebrities, the most powerful figures in entertainment, all walking down a red carpet. And what do they always ask each other? Who are you wearing? That's not an accident. It's ritualistic, a knowing nod to something deeper. Because certain ultra-luxury brands tailor-make clothing infused with real organic materials, if you know what I mean. And they flaunt it in your face. Ever see that movie, random scene, guy strutting down the street in red shoes, eating pizza, no context, just thrown in there? Why? Because once you start recognizing the pattern, you realize it's everywhere. And here's the kicker. It's not just shoes. Certain ultra-luxury handbags, the kind with years-long waiting lists, the kind only they can get, are rumored to be made from the exact same material, same source, same meaning, different product. They've been hiding it in plain sight. That's what they do. They don't keep secrets. They tell you exactly what they're doing. And if you don't see it, that's on you. So next time you see a billionaire rocking a pair of red leather loafers, ask yourself, is it just a style choice, or are they telling you exactly who they are? I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
So you're probably aware we're just going to run this like normal. So I'm just going to run you through some voluntary field sobriety tests if you're willing to. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do any.
Okay. All right. What about the PBT? You willing to do a voluntary PBT?
I don't want to do any tests
Okay.
based on the
Okay. Understood.
circumstances. Yeah.
Her eyes are a little bit glassy. I think I smelled a little bit of odor of alcohol, enough for me to say. All right, so like I said, we were really trying to rule alcohol out. I'm not convinced that alcohol wasn't a factor. So right now you are under arrest. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and put your hand behind your back.
So you could just refuse field sobriety tests? I didn't know that. People were saying she refused the field sobriety test because she's a cop and knows they are just entrapment tools.
This ass motherfucker been watching me. Look, this is the camera. I ain't even unhooked that one yet. This been watching my wife. This violated my kids, dog. This got Bluetooth devices. This got cameras, Bluetooth cameras. This got light bulb cameras, dog.
They look like everyday objects, a lamp, a clock, radio, an iPod docking station. But when you look closer, they have hidden cameras inside, tiny, unnoticeable.
The camera lens is right here, and it's usually pointing up.
And I have no idea that there's a camera there.
So President of El Salvador, Bukele, woke up and he wants that smoke. You know who he wants that smoke from? Claudia. He called her out today saying, how is it possible that there are parts of Mexico that are completely overrun and ran by the cartels? He states the only way this happens is if the government is involved with the cartels. And she's responded pretty much telling him to mind his own business, that what worked for him down there doesn't mean it's going to work for him up here. And that the way that she governs is not going to be the way that he governs. And still, she hasn't responded to the extermination camps. Not one peep out of the government at all. They haven't acknowledged it at all. And it keeps getting worse. The findings are even worse than initially reported. I got a video coming up on that soon. I'm waiting for all the details to get verified before I go ahead and talk about it. And I understand now that Jalisco is in, or Guadalajara is in Jalisco, and they call it a state. I don't know. To me, inside a state here in Texas, everything's a city. So I called it a city. My bad. I got thousands of comments correcting me. Thank you for that. That drove that video.
Years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah. The first time I seen Kevin Hart was in Scary Movie 4, and here's the scene.
Been alone with you inside my mind. And in my dreams I've kissed your lips 1,000 times.
I sometimes see you pass outside my door.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? I
can see it in your eyes.
I can see it in your smile.
You're all I ever wanted.
And my arms are open wide.
'Cause you know just what to say. And you know just what to do.
You guys see what I'm saying?
Ooh, baby.
And I want to tell you so much.
Oh my God. This is literally the first time I've ever seen Kevin Hart. And then, I don't know, it seems like after this movie is when he really took off, right?
I saw a guy on TikTok, he had a book about the science of your head getting chopped off.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Yeah, listen to this.
Like the guy that started blinking, the blinking guy?
Yes, that was in, he talked about that. Have you heard this, Lil?
I don't know.
So there's a scientist during the French Revolution.
French Revolution.
He was sentenced to death by guillotine, and he told his assistant, when my head gets, pick up my head, and I'm gonna blink as many seconds as I am conscious to blink. He blinked 15 times.
Oh my gosh!
Imagine the guy with just the notepad. 1, 2, 3, 4.
But she's
Hey,
screaming.
I can't talk. Golly, I gotta start over.
She's screaming the whole time.
There's other stories too that go with it. There's a story where it was like two enemies basically were both getting their heads cut off at the same time, and they're thrown in the same like bag.
Oh no.
And when they took him out, the one dude was biting onto the other dude's cheek, and they couldn't release him.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That is terrible. It's all that like nerve, like just reaction. It's just like muscle memory almost.
Nah, that last one was crazy.
There's whispers saying that all these guys want to take your off.
Whoa, what? As she was pulled into the frenzy, the camera recorded her shout.
I thought I was gonna die. They were trying to chunks of my scalp. I remember looking up and seeing them taking pictures with their cell phones.
I see some crazy thing about a news reporter in Egypt.
Yeah.
Everything was going good when she was on camera, but as soon as the lights went off, plot twist, fam. Her name is Laura Logan. Her whole career did like news reports on like the battlefield and stuff like that. Very dangerous. Any other news reporter would have probably lost their life, right?
Yeah.
But one day she was in Egypt. I think there was a celebration going on because the president just resigned, right? So everyone in the back, male-dominated crowd, and there's a pretty blonde woman doing the news. Everybody's celebrating, being polite with her. All you see is the lights go off, and the tour guide that was with her, yo, Laura, we have to go right away. There's whispers saying that all these guys want to take your off.
Whoa, what?
Cameras went off. Yeah. Since it's like 2 versus 100, fam, Laura gets pulled into the middle of that crowd, and they...
Religion of peace.
Is this really fallen angel technology? And the only reason I'm saying that is because this guy's about to 1000x magnification into the CPU of your Apple iPhone. Check this out.
Watch this right here and tell me if this doesn't blow your mind. That's a human hair right there. This is the Apple CPU, the little chip that's in your phone or your computer. Yeah, watch it and tell me this is not fallen angel technology. I don't know what to say. Because nobody can make something like this. Not even a laser can shoot down that far and create something like this. Yep, just keep watching. We're going way deep. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. It goes further. Yep. And we hit the bottom.
Look, man, I don't know what that is. I'm surprised there's no bacteria on it with how like zoomed in he is. Typically you would see bacteria anywhere, but I guess not on CPUs.
This might be off topic, but did you know that a dolphin and a human fell in love back in the 1960s? Yeah, during a NASA study of dolphin to human communications, there was a dolphin named Peter and a human named Margaret. Now, Margaret lived inside the facility where this study was being done, so she lived with Peter 24/7. She was around this dolphin. She said that at some point in time during their language experiments, Peter started getting very excited and was very interested in her body. It was going from 6 to midnight often. So she would put him back in the tank with the female dolphins so that he could get his, he could satisfy himself. He didn't like that. He would rage and try to get out of the tank. Okay, get back to Margaret. So Margaret said she would put him back in the tank with her, and he would rub himself on her feet or her legs or her hands. And she said that he was kind of hard to work with and do the language experiments when he was excited like that. So she would just let him satisfy himself so they could get back to their work. This study was fucked up. It took a turn when they started giving LSD to Margaret and the dolphins, so NASA pulled their funding. That's a whole nother story, though. Anyways, when NASA pulled funding from it, they had to shut down the project. So Peter and Margaret were separated. 2 weeks after they were separated, Peter went underwater and opened up his blowhole.
I could have gone my entire life without knowing this. So on top of being very smart, they're also very freaky. Got it.
Strange theories you've never heard of. Guys, some of the topics on this chart are extremely deranged the further down you go. But we'll start off with volcanoes' real purpose. This is the idea that all volcanoes on Earth are just remnants of old power plants, and that human civilization have gone through multiple cycles of great extinction events. And so these power plants have melted down, and that's why they are now just volcanoes. The phone mafia is just the idea that all the scam callers that you get and receive are all part of a a large mafia syndicate that's goal is to steal your information and sell it, which I feel like is closer to the truth than a lot of these other ones. Pancreas denial. This is the theory that the pancreas that you have in your body is more than just a physical organ, but rather your body's third chakra, and that it's responsible for the filtering out of negative energy. However, the government purposefully exposes us to a lot of negative energy to weaken its ability to block bad stuff, and so this leaves the general public vulnerable to the negativity that the pancreas would normally be able to keep away from us. So the pancreas is being denied its normal function. Moon soul catcher. This is just the idea that the moon is a giant soul catcher, and that there was a soul catcher placed on the moon before the age of man by these celestial beings that were benevolent entities that wanted to protect humanity. And so at the end of your life, they catch your soul with this giant catcher and then reincarnate it into a body of a newborn baby. And like, even if you experience like a near-death experience, your soul gets caught by the moon and then returned to your body if it's not beyond repair. Paleolithic deep state. First of all, the deep state is the idea that there are these secret groups of people controlling the entire world with secret agendas. Paleolithic deep state is the idea that there is this group that has existed since ancient prehistoric times, and they are these creatures that have evolved alongside humans to secretly push their agendas despite having complete power over the entire world. Nano UFOs and Giga UFOs. This is the idea that UFOs can come in different sizes and forms. For example, there can be microscopic UFOs that can exist in like substances that we eat or even in our bloodstream. But then there's also gigantic UFOs that are supernaturally massive and could exist in things like clouds, or they could be stars, or even like cover up the entire sky of the planet. Phantom time hypothesis. This is a pseudo-historical conspiracy theory that claims that nearly 300 years of our Earth's history was made up. So basically, this theory says that 600 to 900 AD didn't exist, and that the Middle Ages never happened because the medieval elite fabricated those years to justify their ascension to power. And because of this, all the history that we know is false. But there's overwhelming evidence that those time periods happened, but I still think it's a cool theory. Nukes weren't made for humans. So this is the theory that nuclear weapons weren't made for humans, but rather were made to combat or destroy these esoteric or supernatural forces, or even destroy things like cryptids. Along with this theory, people think there are these entities that exist on Earth outside of public knowledge, and that even when we were supposed to be doing testing of our nuclear weapons, they were just examples of these weapons being used to obliterate targets that the public could not be made aware of. Anyways, thank you guys for watching another long video on here.
Now y'all, I don't know what's really going on, and I don't know what's really true or not, but word around town is Odell Beckham Jr. and Drewski is being added to the Diddy case. So some chick named Ashley Pearl said that Diddy, Odell Beckham, and Drewski all got her up there with the kites and then proceeded to R-word her. He said after the whole thing went down, she was traumatized, rightfully so. And she said that Diddy told her that if she spoke anything, he was going to harm her or her family, or both. She said he then proceeded to try to calm the situation down, like he's sorry for what he did and that he will pay her some money to hush her mouth. The victim even alleged that Jaguar Wright was a part of this, but a lot of people was debunking it because they like, around the time you said Jaguar Wright was in jail, so how could that be? So if it's true that Jaguar Wright was in jail when this whole ordeal went down, that means you lied. And if she lied about that, that means she probably lied about the Diddy, Odell, and Drewski thing. It's a sticky situation. This is official court documents, so you know she gone through with it. But the question remains, is this true? I believe Diddy case is coming up pretty soon. It's gonna get crazy. If y'all wanna be updated on the situation, make sure you hit that follow button, like this, and share this.
I feel like if they were to actually do something like this, they're going to cut loose ends. That's too loose of an end to not cut. Like, that can come back and bite you in the butt anytime. With the type of status and wealth these people have, don't you think if they really did something like that, they would just... How does she do that? No, like actually, how is she doing that? She's a wizard. That's all I can think of.
Anything else for you?
Yeah.
550. Welcome in. Hello. $6. Thank you.
Okay.
See you later.
Did you know the galaxy that we're inside of is being pulled towards something really big, but we have no idea what it is? Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is part of a supercluster of something like 100,000 galaxies. Most, if not all of these galaxies, appear to be gravitating or attracted to something really massive in the middle of them. What's crazy is we have no idea what basically everything in our supercluster is being attracted to, because we can't see it due to black holes and stars in our galaxy blocking our view of it. So we've given that thing the name the Great Attractor. When you really think about it, this is like the greatest mystery in all of science. If the Milky Way were a piece of gravel, the Great Attractor would be like a truck. Its attraction is so strong that we're being sucked into it at the rate of 372 miles per second. That's about 1,300,000 miles per hour. And it's estimated that we will hit it within 13 billion years. Did you know the galaxy that we're inside of is being pulled?
Bro, the way he made it seemed like we was about to get sucked in tomorrow, but I guess 13 billion years. I don't even think Earth's gonna survive that long. What if it's just Ton 618, that one gigantic black hole that literally takes up half of most of the universe? Isn't it bigger than the sun as well?
In the early days of the Soviet space program, whispers of lost cosmonauts filled the air. Some believe that before Yuri Gagarin's triumphant 1961 flight, several astronauts met tragic fates during secret missions. Reports emerged suggesting that these missions were so clandestine that their very existence was erased from history. One notable claim involved a mysterious transmission intercepted in 1960, hinting at a failed launch and haunting cries for help. These unconfirmed tales, fueled by conspiracy theories and folklore, paint a picture of courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of the cosmos. The truth remains obscured, shrouded in the shadows of the Cold War.
Yeah, I don't think that's a theory because trial and error. I mean, you don't hear about all those people that died or like got tested on when they were making these new cures or like new vaccines or these new like pills that help you. Like you don't hear about people like that. That's exactly why you don't hear about these astronauts that were lost up there. Like let's say when they first started doing surgery, you had to have trial and error to be able to be as good as you are today, right? Trust me, many people have died in any of these topics, whether it's trying to reach the bottom of the ocean, trying to reach the Titanic, trying to reach the moon, trying to reach unnatural high speeds, whatever the case is, trial and error, people have died in the process to be able to be where we're at today. And that's not a conspiracy.
So President Trump just ordered the resurgence of a 1980s plan for nuclear war in space. Let me explain. Currently, if there are rockets with nuclear warheads heading towards the United States, the US can detect them. And then they launch these ground-based interceptor rockets that go track down the nuke. The interceptor sheds all the rocket stuff and eventually looks like this. It finds the nuke, and up here in space, it hits it. This is currently how we do missile defense. It's pretty insane that we can actually do this. But Trump's new executive order says that we should launch hundreds of satellites up, each with heat-seeking missiles on board. When one of these hundreds of satellites sees a nuke headed to the US, they quickly shoot it down. Now I'm showing you this in vintage graphics because this was a real program back in the 80s. It was canceled after the Cold War, but now it's back. And I wonder why. Make sure to subscribe.
Always brings me back to the same question. If this is the type of like tech or type of stuff they were working with back then in the 80s, just imagine what we're working with now.
I've never made any sense.
Let's have another shot.
No, let's have another shot. I'm in. Okay,
we need to treat our guests the right way.
Let's give them shots too. Come on.
No. This is me and you.
All right, I need a shot.
Yeah, I got your shot,
this
bro.
This is mine? Okay.
Yeah, I just have to take. It's all together. Me and you. Eyes.
Let's do it. Spilling it all over.
Eyes. Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my
Chance with you.
bag
I like
at?
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag
Daddy,
at,
I like
Mr.
when
Lee?
you
It's
scrambling
right
and
here.
scraping for shit.
No. I got notes
like
and
that.
shit. You know, I've been practicing. I got
Yeah,
notes
there you
and
go.
shit.
Got your notes?
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go over that one.
See where I look back on where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real, because it seems like a thing.
I
with
miss
this
partying
birthday
with
party,
Puff, man.
Man, but I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party. And,
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying? Eyes, brother.
Oh,
Eyes.
I'm pretty sure that meant exactly what we thought it meant, bro. There's no doubt about that.
Do y'all remember the mom that believed her son was murdered and put on display at the Bodies Museum in Las Vegas, y'all? Well, I have some receipts for y'all. She came with receipts, and y'all, this gave me chills down my spine. I truly feel like this might be her son. Now, they're trying to say that her son unalived himself and used cyanide on himself and put it inside of himself, when there was an actual receipt of it being purchased before his unaliving. She also mentioned that her son's stepmom is on a government watch list, and she believes that she is the one who unalived her son as well as her son's father. There are some comparison photos to the display at the Body Museum to compare to her son's face, and also the marks on her son's chest that make no sense and have no correlation to cyanide poisoning. And then there's also a post that was made by her son saying that he believed people were trying to unalive him, and she used that as evidence as well. All of this, and they still saying that the body is not her son. But y'all, this is scary because I really feel like it might be. And the fact that those bodies are on display, that is so disrespectful and inhumane. She is still fighting for justice to prove that this is her son, y'all, and that they tried to cover this up and gave them money, and it was all about money, and how they get these bodies at this museum is suspicious anyway. But yeah, y'all, this is crazy. She has receipts, and honestly, I feel like she has a case here.
See, my thing is as to why they probably do something like this, especially in a body museum, is they probably want it to look as realistic as possible. And maybe they can't really replicate it to look exactly like a human. Maybe they can make it look somewhat like it and decent enough, but they want it to look so damn real that they probably just preserved all of this with something. And for all we know, that's actually a person sitting right there.
Brain death is a lie, so people don't even realize it's a lie anymore. But it's been a lie from the beginning, continues to be a lie. They invented brain death mainly to get organs, but then also so they don't waste money on treating people who aren't ever going to get a job, who are just going to live and not die. And so to see what brain death is, it's primarily a way to get organs. You cannot get any organs from a cadaver. Every organ that's transplanted is a healthy organ, and you can only get healthy organs from living persons. You cannot get any organs for transplant from a cadaver. The things I'm telling you is that you are not allowed to hear, because if you hear it, you will be upset, as all three of you are upset. And rightly so, you should be upset. Whose organs do they want? Certainly from all children, but especially the people who are 16 to 30, and their life is in jeopardy. If they're unconscious and on a ventilator, they're going to get their organs. Everybody who's called brain dead has a beating heart, circulation, and respiration. If they didn't have that, you wouldn't have to call them brain dead. You could call them dead.
Despite the fact that authorities ruled this death as natural and accidental, there are a lot of unanswered questions. This TikTok slideshow that I got tagged in first starts off with an image of a teenager by the name of Mike Mansholt, an image of authorities inspecting a cliff, an image of Mike's bike, and finally the cliff where he was found. Now this case happens back in 2016. Mike was an avid explorer, and he decided that he was going to go to Malta and do some biking as a vacation. However, when Mike failed to return home on time, his family realized something was wrong and a large search party was started. Mike was found days later at the bottom of a 100-foot cliff, of course, no longer alive. This is where you might think the story ends, but no, it gets stranger. From this fall, apparently Mike had not suffered any broken bones, and even weirder, his body was missing several major organs, including his brain. Authorities concluded that this was a natural death, but it's hard to buy that. So let me know what your theories are as to what happened to Mike. This is a very bizarre case indeed.
So his organs were harvested and they're ruling it as a natural death? You know what's even crazier is the police are the ones that are saying that it was a natural death.
Cause it comes from the heart. Help me, my parents sold me to a big producer in the record industry. He makes me do things that I don't wanna do. Please call child services or maybe SVU. You gotta help me. My parents sold me to a big producer in the music industry. They took the cash and left me to the streaming.
If you guys know, you know. The cigars, I mean, everybody knows about the cigars. And this was in 2013.
If I don't know this, I'd skip those dancing classes. I tried to run away one time in Belarus. They beat me with phone books so that I wouldn't bruise. I just can't take.
That's scary.
That is scary.
Hey, slow down.
That gave me chills.
There's someone banging on the door of that container. Not even fucking kidding you.
Fuck. And this is the first time we're going to see this this victim. It doesn't look that good, but yeah, it does look terrible. And we'll just see if maybe they're just moving him out of there, or if they put him in an ambulance. That's some sort of sign, but yes. So basically the activity that we were looking for, that that anxious or that quick moving, that was going on the other side of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, he's completely alive.
What the hell? Since when do firefighters start doing EMS job? Imagine you just see a shark falling down. No, but honestly though, I wonder how many marine life was killed in this video.
Have you tried to look into religion at all? Such as the crucifixion? Do you have? Do you not want to talk about that? Okay.
So basically, this spider has some sort of fungus where he's conscious and his brain is still there, like, but he's trapped in his body where the fungus basically took over all the nerves. So he's a prisoner in his own body. Dude, anytime I see a glacier, especially how dark that one was, I don't know, the color doesn't have anything to do with this, but anytime I see glaciers, I just can't help but to think or imagine that there's something in there that's terrifying, especially in the darker blue part.
This has been concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized the world. The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay, he met with Gustave Eiffel and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free, wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Wardenclyffe Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics, this was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed?
Richard, can I ask you a serious question? About young comedians. About young girls, ask me about that. You don't like young girls? Say you don't like young girls or something. Smile if I don't like young girls. No, I like young girls. Yeah. I ain't no good, ain't trying to be no good. I ain't no good, ain't trying to be no good.
I may end up running off with you myself, you know.
That's what Steven says.
It's Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good director, isn't he? Yeah.
Steven Spielberg is a...
Can you tell us a secret about Steven Spielberg? He eats babies. Whole babies.
Johnny Carson asking, you have a daughter who's a really good-looking chick. Well, you may be able to change her life and improve your financial status. Because Prince Andrew is looking for a new girlfriend. You just drop a nude photo of your little nymphette in a self-addressed stamped envelope and mail it to Royal Affair, Buckingham Palace.
I don't know, maybe people's humor was just a little more worse than ours nowadays. Because it's like the whole crowd's laughing. But I didn't see anything funny or hear not one thing funny.
You know why they put oxygen masks on planes? So you can breathe. Oxygen gets you high. In a catastrophic emergency, you're taking giant panic breaths. Suddenly you become euphoric, docile. You accept your fate. It's all right here. Emergency water landing 600 miles an hour. Blank faces, calm as Hindu cows. That's an interesting theory.
I really don't like that sound. Yeah, this is literally what I was talking about earlier. Like, look at the scale that this black hole is.
That's your kids? Okay. That's what you was munching on? That's his food?
Eating all day yesterday, so.
That's his food? Alright.
I'll
food that he was eating, so.
Yeah, I'll confirm anything. Is he allergic to seafood by any chance?
Yeah.
No? Just trying to make it make sense, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so. I woke up at midnight, so I moved him, I texted him. When you wake up, but I moved to the. Yeah, so that's like what? I showed him a picture?
Mishra's researchers take water samples from the Ganges in Varanasi. The results are enough to make your eyes water. The safe level for fecal coliform bacteria, that's poo to you and me, is about 500 units per milliliter. Here, it's 4.2 million. The dissolved oxygen levels are so low in places that the river is now biologically dead. Add to that bodies, pesticides, and medical waste. You can see that the Ganges is in crisis.
Yeah, let's take a break. But I've never seen a whole group of men cry at the same time. And this was over something that Diddy,
took place with them, with Diddy?
Yeah, over the whole making the band thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure what it is, but it was traumatic enough to have a whole group of grown men
Why
cry.
grown men ain't talking about it?
I don't know. He said,
Yeah, they was up here.
He said,
What are they crying about? Did he hurt their feelings or did he hurt their ass?
Ooh, I don't know.
What are they crying about? He might have hurt their feelings because he was hurting their feelings on making it a band.
Yeah.
They might be traumatized with it like that.
Yeah.
But if you gonna get up here, why the f you get up here and tell him? You crying, did he go in your ass or not? Because you have people thinking they went in your ass. Don't get up here and try to salt the man down. Tell the truth.
Yeah, he said I ain't no snitch. So he didn't want to actually say what happened or what he saw.
Okay, well, he enjoyed. He likes to relive it.
Not sure. But like I said,
he's real emotional. All these grown men are real emotional, crying about it, but don't want to say what it is because they don't want to snitch. We know what happened, but like, can they make it any more obvious?
The reason why they're doing this is that they want us to become entranced by the idea of this religion, to have it be cool, to have it be trendy. So one of the things they do is this symbol, which is 666. Each finger is one of the stems of the 6. So you'll see people do stuff like this. You'll also see them put their finger over their eye like this. That's the all-seeing eye. Or they'll do this a lot. You'll have this kind of symbolism.
So they're out there putting out these sigils and signs and codes and symbols, and they do it through things like pop music. So people start watching what's ever popular, and they're seeing flames, and they're seeing people dancing around in Baphomet horns, and they're seeing all this really strange stuff. Their goal, again, is to acquaint us with their religion so that if they get their goal realized, which is to create a massive world economic collapse, greatly reduce population, and then come out as our liberators, giving us this technology, giving us what they consider to be freedom, we would actually be trading our sovereignty for a much greater level of tyranny.
This is not clean, man. Pollution. No good. And no one clean this? No cleaning? No. Why? It's easy, like in 3 days, 4 days, everything can be cleaned. Alright, brother. Ciao. Man, you can't even see the water here. Man, look at that. It's a shame. Yeah, you can't even see the water. You can't see it. As you can imagine, it doesn't smell that nice.
Meridianville, Moore's Mill, Hazel Green, Harvest, Tony and Fisk. This is an extremely dangerous tornado with complete devastation likely. You could be killed, if not underground, or in a tornado shelter. Do not delay. Seek shelter now. If no underground shelter is available, seek shelter in an interior room of the lowest level of the structure, or if time allows, consider moving to an underground shelter elsewhere.
I've been seeing a lot of tornado posts lately, and it's kind of worrying. Alright guys, I'm gonna go and end this video right here. If you guys did enjoy this video, let me know by leaving a thumbs up and or subscribing if you guys are new. But as always, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.